Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope everyone is doing really well. I just finished doing a live with Psychic Violetta. So if you didn't see that, you might want to check that out on her channel. I did put a link in the community tab. Members, you have a bunch of videos out. And for anyone interested, I just started the automatic writing series. So if you've been wanting to learn how to do automatic writing, I'm taking you step by step. As always, my classes are uploaded and placed in a playlist that you can look, even if you're not a non-member, you can see what's there. And if you haven't already, please like this video, comment, share, check out membership. If you want to get a reading, I'm also offering angel healings and angel readings now too on my website. That's dianeaquarius.com. So just to keep you all up to date with everything that I'm doing, but let's get right to the questions, okay? There is so much to cover. It's almost like I don't even know where to begin. So Mark Meadows, at one point he was 45's chief of staff, and he has been cooperating with the Jan 6 probe. He was subpoenaed, as you may or may not know. And he's cooperating with like the FBI, with the committee. He's giving information. So I was just wondering, let's take a look at his future. What's going on with him? What do we need to know about Mark Meadows? Because we haven't heard the last of him. I don't think he's going anywhere. And I think he's trying to save himself by being cooperative. I don't think he's doing it, out of the goodness of his heart, that's for sure. But I do think he's doing it to protect himself, which I guess is human nature for many people. But of course, we've seen other people surrounding 45 that their human nature is a little different than the rest of ours, isn't it? Okay. First card here, he's feeling burdened and oppressed. But, like I always say with the 10 of Wands, if he bundled these up, put them on his back, he could see where he's going. He could see reality. He could see his future. He could see a path to doing the right thing. Because let's face it, he's not in a good position right now. His obstacle, 4 of Pentacles, is that he's not feeling balanced. He is out of sorts, because if you get this card normally, it's great, right? It's a 4, it's, a strong foundation. But at the same time, I do think he is about to have some money woes. And I think he doesn't have a strong foundation. And so I think things are about to really change for him. And let's see how. Okay, so let's check this out. So he gets the World card. And the World card can sort of go either way, right? You have to look at the cards around it. So it's a turning point. It means one phase of your life is ending, a new one's beginning, right? She's stepping through that laurel, so a new something's beginning. So let's see what that new something is. A ruthless battle, because he had an abuse of power. And here he is looking back and saying, was it worth it? And obviously, no. And then the card of loss, 5 of Pentacles. Losing it all, losing your job, your money, your health. It's just a card of loss. When you look at these characters, they are destitute, they're not healthy, they're out in the cold. And so I don't think we're done hearing about him. I think there's so much more to come, okay? So, Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy. So I'm sure, as you know, his phone was seized outside of a restaurant. And apparently, it's not just for one thing. They're actually looking at several different topics, and it has to do with tampering with votes, voter fraud, and all of that sort of thing in Colorado. So the rigging the machines, and it's a lot of different things that he's looking at having to do with the 2020 election results. He did promote the big lie, right? So let's take a look at him and what we need to know. Now, if you remember, I said a long time ago, I see nothing good coming for him. Like, I don't see the whole My Pillow thing just going on and everything's great and he's this businessman that's, doing well. No, if you remember right, I've been saying for a long time, not all is well in his world. He really has gone full Q, and he's not well. And it makes you wonder, like, does he actually believe what he's saying? I mean, at some point in his life, he must have been okay. He started a business and ran it, and it was somewhat successful at one point. But then he did run it into the ground, and now it has an F rating with the Better Business Bureau. But then he turned around and just said, well, the Better Business Bureau isn't real. So I guess, what do you say to that? Okay. Why am I not surprised? Okay, so let me just take a look at these cards here. I'm going to pull several for him just to see what's going on. So Ace of Wands. Okay, yeah, he's going to have a new beginning, all right. But I think it's not going to be fertile, right? Because this is a fertile new beginning, but it's not going to be fertile in the way he wants it to be, as in prosperous. It'll be fertile more as in what we're hearing, okay? The news that we're getting about him. Let me just move my cards down here. His obstacle, for me, the Knight of Cups is, the cup is full. It has good opportunities, but it's in the obstacle position. So he is running out of those good opportunities. So I don't see anything good coming for him. And also, too, because it's cups, it's also highly emotional. Cups have to do with emotions, and it's in the obstacle position. So it's not emotions like happiness and joy. It's things that are going to cause a problem for him because he is now in this terrible position that he put himself into. Queen of Wands, interestingly enough, and we'll have to see how this plays out, but oftentimes, I think for a lot of us, this is the Nancy Pelosi card. But at the very least, you can say it's a woman who is very driven, enthusiastic, passionate about what she does, has good instinct. And so there is a woman involved with this that's going to pursue this and be like a dog with a bone that's not letting it go. Okay, we'll have to see how that plays out, but my sense is that's true and accurate. He's been trying to get away with it for so long. Here's our little Russian friend, 7 of Swords, stealing 5 of the 7 swords, looking over his shoulder, saying, ha, I did it, I got away. But nope, here comes another female. It's interesting how he gets 2 queens here, all set to take him to task. And, the Queen of Swords is someone that's very judicial, someone that has legal authority. Somebody who is holding the sword of truth and is moral and just. So not good news for him. If you're corrupt, you don't want her coming after you. Why? Because she's going to cast judgment. Here's the Judgment card. She's casting judgment, and look at what it does. It creates chaos. It creates negativity. But, like we always say with the Tower, a tower can withstand a lightning strike if the base is solid. But does he have a solid base? Is this a man with a good foundation for himself? No. So, he's going to be like these characters jumping out, trying to, leap to safety, but there really is no place he can go, is there? At the end of this video, I am going to use the Animal Apothecary to do a 3-card pull from Spirit. Okay. Chuck Grassley. For those of you who aren't familiar with him, he's a senator from Iowa, and they want him to run for an 8th term. This is a man who's 89 years old. I think when I go into his energy, he would be just as happy to retire and call it a day. You may remember he's the one that gets a bit obsessed with Hunter Biden. And I guess no matter what you think about Hunter Biden, the man is not in office, right? But he gets a bit obsessed about him. And so I really think he doesn't stand a great chance of winning. And I think if he does win, it's not going to be, let me be careful how I phrase this. It won't be on his own merit. Okay, so let's take a look at Chuck Grassley, because I know a lot of you have been asking me to read on him. And then we can look at who he's running against, Michael Franken, the retired Navy Admiral. okay, well, cards are jumping. So he does have enough money. Okay, he is being financially backed. Big surprise, right? We know Chuck Grassley's being backed. We know that money's not a big issue for him. Okay. His cards are interesting. Very interesting. And I think it's actually speaking to the fact, because I did a clarifier, because he got the Wheel of Fortune, so I'm doing a clarifier. And I think it's like speaking to the fact that this is really a change for him, and it's not one that he really wants, okay? So yeah, he's definitely getting enough money to do this. But his obstacle is he feels like things are going too fast. Like things are just getting thrown at him, which is what I'm kind of getting, is that this man wants to retire. He wants to not do this anymore, but he's being like pushed on. He does get a card of victory and of being triumphant, but then he also gets a card, 2 major arcana cards, talking about like how this has a lot to do with his karmic destiny and fate. And he really just wants to be by himself. I'm going to take the Hermit at a very literal level, that he really just wants to be left alone. So I think it's almost like, yes, he can do this if he really wants to, which he really doesn't. But I think he's had it. You know, I don't know about physically, but I do get psychologically, like mentally, he's done. He's tired. He's ready to move on. So let's see what the cards are like for his opponent, Michael Franken. He's a retired Navy Vice Admiral. He's the Democrat that's running against him. So he definitely has a lot more energy. I get more energy, more enthusiasm, more excitement, more passion. Like, this is a guy that wants it. Oh, look at that. And I get the Knight of Wands. So talk about a card of like passion and excitement. And he would bring a change to people in Iowa, right? He would shake things up. He would, you know, I think really help the state and help them with what they need. But the obstacle is, you know, people aren't always truthful and honest with themselves. It may be easier just to stick with Chuck Grassley because that's what's always been done, instead of saying, well, you know, he really hasn't done enough for us. There is more that he could have been doing. Maybe it's time to let somebody else in. I also wouldn't be surprised too, though, if the Republican camp tried to insert some scandals into Michael Franken's campaign. Okay. He is going to get like a nice bit of money. Oh my gosh. So he gets 3 aces. Oh, look at this. So he gets 3 aces. So for new beginnings. Okay. So we're not done hearing about this man. No matter what happens, he is forming new relationships. He is getting financial backing. And also too, I think he's speaking the truth. He's being honest. So really nice cards for him. I think a bit of it's going to depend upon Chuck Grassley and his energy. Because to me, it feels almost non-existent. It feels like it's just done. It's not there. So let's take a look at China and Russia. So as you know, Putin, Vlad, went to see Xi. And, you know, we weren't quite sure what was going to happen, right? You know, is there going to be some sort of like revolution? Are they really going to team up together? What's it going to be like? What I get is that with Xi, he's very stable. We may not always like his policies, but he feels more conservative and grounded to me than Vlad. I also think he's not willing to take risks as much as him. I think she is looking at the long term. He's looking at the long haul. I don't think he's willing to just give up things. Like if you notice, for instance, he's backing away from Taiwan a bit. And so let's see, what do we need to know about that meeting and their relationship? So, I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised we get the Hierophant because two high government official type people met. And so they were talking not so much about personal things, this tells me, but about very governmental type things, that they kept it business related, that this was not a social call. The obstacle is trying to keep things normal. Six of Cups. All right, because Six of Cups, when it's at its best, it talks about things being normal, kind of like sticking with how things used to be when things were better, like happier times, things that are tried and true. And so, you know, I think the two of them would like to shake it up, but I think out of the two of them, it's Vlad that would. Oh my gosh, the Wheel of Fortune keeps popping up tonight. So this was really predestined to happen. This was something that was sort of meant to be. And I think it needed to happen because I think they had very important talks. And I think a lot got accomplished. And I think it restored some balance. It restored some harmony back into the world. So if you were worried, like, you know, is this going to lead to something really horrible? The feeling I'm getting is no, and the cards are saying no. Okay, so, you know, that's really, to me, that's comforting. You probably have all heard about DeSantis's little stunt about sending those poor Venezuelans to Martha's Vineyard. And when I was watching that, you know, because that's not too far from me. I mean, as my members know, I went to Martha's Vineyard and I made you that video. And, you know, realistically, there really isn't any place on Martha's Vineyard you're going to be putting up really anybody like that. When I was there, you know, like a month or so ago, there weren't like apartments for rent and houses to buy and jobs to be had. It's Martha's Vineyard. But they were welcomed with open arms. They were given shelter right away. They were given food and anything that they needed. The community definitely came together for them. But realistically, I mean, even if you have 50 Americans that are employed and they're already citizens and whatnot, I don't know if Martha's Vineyard could accommodate that. It's a small island. The houses have a tendency to get passed down from generation to generation. So, it's sort of like when I went to Bermuda and there was not one house for sale. It's more like that mentality. There's not a lot. And if they are going to be for sale, then they're going to be millions of dollars, right? You know, and renting and stuff isn't like a thing that people really do there, except to like maybe rent for a summer or something. But, you know, I think the people of Martha's Vineyard really did stand up and do what they could do, given it was so last minute. I mean, they had no warning. But when I was watching it, let me just say, this is my point, is I literally just said out loud, I was sitting there having breakfast with my brother, and I said, he's going to get accused for human trafficking because I'm seeing money. So we can say it's for entertainment purposes only. But let's take a look at DeSantis. I was like, he's going to be in trouble over this. This is human trafficking. You can't just take human beings and lie to them, shove them onto a plane and put them into a strange environment. It doesn't work that way. That's not how we treat people. And honestly, that little stunt didn't even work because the people of Martha's Vineyard weren't angry. I mean, I'm right here. They were very loving and kind. None of us were angry or... I don't know. I mean, maybe they should take, you know, what is it, 47? I think it's 47 of them. Take 47 Republicans from Martha's Vineyard and send them to Florida. Oh, Lord. No, you don't move people without their consent and without telling them. I mean, I'm joking, but, you know, I really just have a sickening feeling. I don't like it. Whew. Okay, these are some serious cards here. These are serious cards. Okay, so he's made some deals. Page of Cups. He's made some deals. Okay, so Page of Cups has to do with relationships, right? So this isn't just him. This isn't DeSantis acting alone, all by his lonesome, doing this. He's not an army of one. Okay, this wasn't him acting alone. But look at this. His obstacle. It's creating a tower moment. So this is not going to be good for him. You know, yes, it may have gotten him his, 15 minutes of fame. But first of all, it backfired because nobody was angry or upset. You know, we just gave people love and kindness here. You know, all of us are asking, what can we do? It's, I don't know what else to say, but for him, it's not going to be good. Lots of bickering and arguing and fighting all around him. So people are upset. So the people around him are upset. And oftentimes when you're doing a reading on someone and you look at the people around someone, that gives you a whole host of information, right? And so if the people around him are upset, then we know something is going on, right? And the thing with this card is they all have different colored tunics because they have different ideas, different morals, different beliefs. Okay. Once again. So this is where this keeps coming up again and again, the Wheel of Fortune card. We know that this is an important time in history in general. Okay. Because as I read on key people, this keeps coming up. And so this is a very important time in our history as human beings, as a society, as a civilization. Things are changing. We're not going to be doing things the way they've always been done. We're in for change. And look at this. Yes, it did affect whole families, but this is also a card of taking a lot of money, isn't it? And I told you that's one of the things that I saw was there's something to do with money with this. And so that is going to be his downfall. That, mark my words, that is going to be his downfall. So I will finish it up there. If you want to hear some answers to some of the other things, like we did cover 45 and going to his golf course. It's called the Washington, D.C. one, but it's actually in Virginia. I did do that on Violetta's channel. We also looked at Matt Gaetz in depth. So let's do the 3-card pull using the Animal Apothecary. And I'm just going to give them a good shuffle. Pick 3. Take a deep breath and center yourself. And just ask Spirit. Wait, I think this card came up last time. Okay. Okay. I think I might mix them up a little bit because they're still new, so they're a little bit sticky. So I think I might do this. And just make sure because I don't want the same ones as last time. Okay. But they are still, you know how when you get new cards, they're still sticky. So, okay. Here we go. So just set the intention that the universe, your guides, your angels, your loved ones on the other side are going to give you and guide you towards the right message. So do you feel like you resonate more with 1, 2, or 3? Don't think about it. Just go with your gut. Here we go. Card number 1. Get out of your head. Okay. So often we overanalyze, we overthink, we just go around and around with the what ifs, and we just force ourselves to be negative through our thoughts. And so sometimes if you find yourself doing that, be conscious of your thoughts, be aware of them, acknowledge them, but then move on. Use the law of attraction instead. When you find yourself having those thoughts, that's when you want to say, I am so happy and grateful that whatever. I live a life of abundance. I'm in a soulmate relationship. My car runs great. I have the job of my dreams. Whatever it is that's bothering you, okay? Number 2, face your fear. So sometimes we get so scared when it comes to taking a risk. Now, first of all, we want to take calculated risks, right? You want to be intelligent about it. But sometimes we're so afraid to just take that calculated risk that we become paralyzed, we become stagnant, and we stop progressing and moving forward in our lives. And, one of the things that I learned, and I forget where I get this quote from, but feel the fear, but do it anyways. And that's what I told myself before I moved to Cambodia, because I was scared. It was a new country. I was going by myself, but I felt the fear and I did it anyways. Okay. And then number 3, better than you can imagine. How many of us love dragonflies? I had one, Michael and I got one as we was going out to eat the other day. It landed right on the windshield when we parked. So, sometimes because we go through the what ifs and all the negativities, we leave out the magic and wonder of the universe, that things can turn out way better than you could ever imagine. Because sometimes we only can imagine so much. But maybe sometimes something really awesome is going to happen, but we shove it aside because we get so wrapped up in our own negativity, our own fears, things that we're scared of, and things can turn out better than you imagine. Okay? All right, everyone. It was a pleasure making this video, and I will see you in a couple of days. Michael and I are going to Salem this weekend. We're going to go see a show there, and we're going to stay for a couple of nights, and Salem is my happy place. It's such a positive, good place. Some of you have asked me, is the energy dark or heavy there? And absolutely not. It isn't. They really changed from the days of witchcraft to that of empowerment and inclusivity. And I love that it's dog friendly. I get to see everybody's dogs, and it's family friendly. So I'll be doing that this weekend. So that's exciting. And Members Tuesday, big day, messages from spirit and live Rahasha channeling where you can ask the raw questions. So, all right, everybody, have a fantastic week. Bye, everyone.